Hello and welcome to Advent Adventures. Today is December 16th, Saturday of the second week of Advent. And I just like to continue sharing during this Advent Adventures different people or just different people in my life that have kind of inspired my faith journey in some way or manner. Today I'd like to share with you a friend, Tony Coggins. Tony, actually, his birthday was celebrated December 5th, but unfortunately, Tony passed away in October 21st of this year. A 51-year-old young man that passed of a sudden heart attack. The reason I share Tony with you is, he was a young man that was a part of my first youth group way back when I was a young youth minister. I've known Tony for many, many years. Both of his parents were very inspirational in my path to ministry. Being there to lead the youth program while I was a young adult. And they really kind of helped me, to see that God was calling me to something greater within the church. The reason I share Tony is because Tony was a young man that was just full of life all the time. We shared that passion for the maize and blue. But Tony was an educator over at Holly High School, and he was there for well over 20 years. And he was also the voice of the Broncos. Tony brought just a lot of joy and passion to whatever he did, whether it was educating young people, whether it was announcing those sports events. I mean, Tony was just full of joy. He was just a great teacher. He was that great voice. He was a great husband, a great father, a great son, brother, and a good friend to all. But one of the things that always inspired me is that, all throughout life, whenever I would run into Tony, whether it was over there at Holly High School for a sporting event or another event or somewhere else, he always took the time to introduce me to the people around him. And he'd always say, "This is my good friend, Ron." And he would introduce, me to those people in his life. And that always just kind of rested with me. And I always felt good. Like, he wanted to share something in his life with me. And he wanted to share me with others. I kind of think about that idea of introducing people to others. When I think about our Advent time and our Advent journey. Especially that whole idea of introducing Jesus to others, bringing others to Jesus. I mean, isn't that what we're all about when we're called to be his missionary disciples, when we're called, to share that good news? I mean, sometimes it gets tough, I know. But sometimes it's as simple as the actions that we share with others, our behaviors, the words that come out of our mouth. That is how we introduce Jesus and his life, to others. So, Tony, inspired me in so many ways. And I miss him because I tell you what, he was just always, so much fun and just had so much joy in him. But he taught me about introducing, someone to others. And I think that is what we're called to do. So I hope in some way that you might reflect today and say, do you introduce Jesus to others? Do you bring Jesus to others? Do you help others, come to him? I've often shared with you, and you've heard this from me before, that, people have often asked me why I do what I do. And I just say I love Christ, I love people, and I love bringing the two together. I think that's what we're called to do. So as you continue your Advent adventure, why don't you think about that? How are you introducing others to Christ? And Tony, God bless you, brother, and thank you. Thank you for your inspiration in life always.